I just, I basically, I decided to, as I was saying, I just didn't know that it was a gift or something that I should pursue or keep on. I just didn't think of it like that. I was hurting and I just started writing, and something was just like, no, don't write like that. Don't write like that. Write one sentence. Doesn't mean that's going to be the first sentence. Doesn't mean that's going to be a title. Doesn't mean it's going to end that way. Just write it. So I wrote it. Took another sheet of paper, wrote a sentence. Then I would write random areas on the sheet of paper. Just random areas, feelings, but I wasn't like words. I've done a poem called The Need to Belong. I did that in words. But this one, Little Misunderstood, I did them in sentences, as if a person talking. And a lot of was questions that I had. And I was like, or basically like one sentence, one question. Just on the paper. Doesn't mean that's going to be a poem. Doesn't mean it's going to be anything. Just one sentence, one question, boom. Another sentence, another question, boom. In no particular order. And then I decided to, I'm crying as I'm doing this. And then I thought of an order to put it in. And I did. And I read it. And I said, wow. This is so sad. I did it. I started doing that because I wasn't necessarily hurt. I must was, because I was trying. But if I was hurt by what happened, I didn't know at the time until I did that poem. Because at first it was like it didn't bother me, didn't concern me at all. At all. It was just me. I was coming to my group home, and at first everybody was like, oh, we got a new girl, we got a new member, we got a new girl coming into the group home. Who room she gonna be in? Is she gonna be in my room? Are we gonna share rooms? I want her in my room. The next day or two, it stopped. And I didn't care. I wasn't there for them. And that was a group home shelter. It was 60 to 90 days. You could only live there 60 to 90 days until you found a permanent spot. I was there for 60 days. They told me I could stay 30 more days, but I didn't want to. That shelter really hurted me. I hated it there. And I hated it there because I didn't care about having friends. So I didn't try to make friends, and I just didn't want to be their friends, because to me they were phony, and they judged me, and they had no right, and they didn't know me. So when I wrote Little Misunderstood, I did that about the girls there at the shelter. I wrote it about them, and I had questions. After I did the poem, I just no longer cared about asking them why, because I put it in my mind that they were just phony. They had no reason. There wasn't a why. That was just them. Their personality. There's nothing I can do about it but live my life and stay in the 60 to 90 day shelter until I can go somewhere else. So that's what I did. I wanted to go to them and be like, okay, why don't you like me again? Because the first one, I never understood why she didn't like me. I guess because I was different. I didn't care enough about talking to her. I was quiet. She took offenses from that as well. But her little friend was the one that made me decide to write the poem, was judging me. She was a follower, and she basically judged me. And she made all the other girls judge me as well. I don't know how can one person have that much power over another person that they could influence their mind. And that's what happened. So in Little Mrs. Understood, which is in the Need to Belong, will also be on the album Little Mrs. Understood. I have not done the track yet on the album, but I'll definitely be in New York to finish it up and and do that. I will definitely be in New York to finish that up. But it is certainly published and you can buy it. You can get it. It's copyrighted and everything, so you can get it. It's The Need to Belong, and it's, I'm sorry, the book is called The Need to Belong. The poem is called Little Mrs. Understood. And I wrote that. I just go, you don't know me, so tell me, why? Why do you judge me without fact, proof, or understanding? You know, if I tried to tell you about me, would you let me? Would you even try to understand me? You know, those are questions that I had. And I wrote the questions down. And then what started off, the first thing I wrote was the first thing I actually started off with, that is, you don't know me, so tell me why. Why do you judge me? You know? And I wanted to know. But after I wrote it, it became clear to me why. It became clear that it was no fault of mine. People will be people, they will do it. You know, and it was another one, and I said another verse that came into Little Mrs. Understood was about the follower, basically. And I watched how she followed the other girl, judging me because of her. And I said, why would you let somebody else's opinion, you know, why would somebody else's point of view become a fact to you? You know, and that bothered me. She just bothered me. Like, how could you let her lead you to think something about me? And it continued when I was in high school. It just continued. It was this girl named Shalita. And I was going to school with her. My name was Shaniqua. Hers was Shalita. And